Hi, everyone. I'm Lad Dilgard, the founder and treasurer of BW Strategy PAC. We raise money and issue awareness for reasonable, sensible, pro-parent candidates for local office in Delaware County, Ohio. This is the latest in a series of podcasts on politics, history, economics, and relevant issues that we'll drop weekly to followers. We hope you will enjoy this episode and support us by going to BW Strategy PAC, that's PAC.com, and donate using a credit card or debit card. You're also welcome to mail a check to BW Strategy PAC, P.O. Box 2913, Westerville, Ohio 43086. All funds will go to support local candidates here in Delaware County or to get information out to voters. Not a dime of contributions will go to Columbus or Washington. Thank you for your time today. I hope you find it interesting and will work to support candidates for local offices that put taxpayers, parents, and students first, not bureaucrats or their own self-interests. Now, on with the show. The state of Ohio and its state government purchases billions of dollars of goods and services annually through a sprawling bureaucracy of government agencies. From salt and asphalt for roads, telecom services, cars and trucks, and hundreds of other categories, state government purchases keep the state moving. You may have known or assumed that Ohio's procurement system, that is, the way it allocates purchases by the state, favors several minority groups and gives them preference in the purchasing process. Supreme Court cases like Students for Fair Admissions, Inc. versus President and Fellows of Harvard College ended racist affirmative action programs at universities, effectively stating that schools could not discriminate against one race versus another for purposes of diversity. But affirmative action in public government is another matter. Still there, still in force. According to the state's purchasing manual, Ohio's minority business enterprise looks at economically disadvantaged groups as members of one of the following groups: Blacks or African Americans, American Indians, Hispanics or Latinos, Asians. Setting aside the sprawling nature of Hispanics and Latinos categories who could come from a myriad number of countries and backgrounds, Asians being viewed as a disadvantaged group is perplexing, and in fact, the number of successful professional CEOs and business owners is profoundly disturbing. No group performs better on standardized tests than Asians, is accepted to elite universities at a higher rate, or have a higher average total net household worth than Asians. So why are people of Asian descent, which could mean Chinese, Indian, Pakistani, Thai, Filipino, and dozens of other nationalities, given preferred purchasing spend status over whites? Frankly, it appears the state's purchasing policy benefits the most of the world's DNA at the expense of people from European descent. That, my friends, is blatantly racist. This is not only racist against white Ohio businesses, but hostile to other groups claiming to be disadvantaged, such as Blacks and American Indians. Every set aside bound for a wealthy, successful, Asian-owned business could be coming at the expense of a Black-owned business that really could use those funds in that business. We say we're considerate of disadvantaged cultures, but this is absurd when the world's entire non-white population is considered disadvantaged. Come on. Ohio is supposedly a deep red state with a supermajority of Republican legislature, and all statewide elected offices are held by the GOP. The state went for Donald Trump by 8 points in the past two elections. Why does the state then have something called EDGE, encouraging diversity, growth, and equity, that directs procurements of goods and services to race-based organizations who don't need it? The state of Ohio's procurement manual, page 24, says, to demonstrate social disadvantage, individuals have at least one objective distinguishing feature that has significantly inhibited their business success, such as race, ethnic origin, gender, physical and mental disability, long-term residency in an environment isolated from mainstream Ohio society. I have no idea what the hell that means, but it could be about anything. Located in a qualified census tract. Does this mean you're rich but living in the wrong zip code? You get the benefits from that? I don't know. Other objective relevant reason. Again, who knows what the hell that is? So this is the Pandora's box of affirmative action and racial preference. Everyone must have a piece of the preferred pie. That is, except white males with no disabilities who live in an okay zip code and not in an environment isolated from mainstream Ohio society and no objective other relevant reasons. You guys can go screw yourselves. That's what they say. If you're a wealthy female descendant of the Rockefellers and want to start a business, no problem. Just show you have less than $750,000 of net worth during the program, and you too can grab part of that Ohio procurement pie. Here's some facts and figures to consider. According to the United States Census Bureau, current population survey of 1968 to 2020, Asians had a real median household income of $98,000, 43% higher than everyone else. Whites were at $76,000. So to be clear, we give purchasing preference in Ohio to a racial category who earns 43% higher than other races, has more degrees, advanced than otherwise, and do better on standardized tests. They get preference. That doesn't make any sense. Kudos to my awesome friends of Asian descent and their families for tearing it up and accomplishing great things. But does your group need set-asides and preferences that put Blacks and Hispanics at an even greater disadvantage? Then there's academics. Asian Americans excel at educational attainment and should be proud of it. As education often determines success, this is critical. While 54% of Asians have a bachelor's degree or more, only 36% of whites, 23% of Blacks, and 16% of Hispanics do. Over 75% of Indians, the largest Asian demographic in Ohio, have at least a bachelor's degree. 75%. They also have the highest wealth, income, and educational achievement of all Asian ethnicities, and no doubt are hugely advantaged by Ohio's racist procurement preferences. But the advantage isn't just in income or academics, but naturally extends to net household worth. According to that 2020 census, Asians had by far the highest net worth of any race. The average net worth, including home equity, of households with a singularly Asian descent was $265,000. For whites alone, it was $217,000, and for the rest, it was less. You would think a red state would be more sensible and less racist in how it spends billions of taxpayer money, but it isn't. I can think of no reasonable explanation of how our state's procurement policy is set up other than someone was making big donations to someone or someone really has it in for the white European male demographic. This is one where I'd encourage you to speak to your state rep or your senator in Ohio and ask them why it's this way. Ask them how we got there and how we end it. To date, I haven't found anyone interested in tackling this nonsensical government procurement policy, and that's not surprising, because once a group is given a handout, they're not keen to give it up, and people aren't willing to look mean in taking it away from them. So taxpayers and small Black business owners get fleeced while the rest of the state just turns and looks away. This has been Lad Dilgard with Stand and Speak, brought to you by BW Strategy Pack. Thank you very much for listening.